You'll get a chance, dude. You'll get a chance.
Let me quickly.
We're almost done with our exchange. Calm down.
How long is it going to be?
So anyway, look, this will be the last thing, okay, Luke? And then we'll take it over to you.
Great.
Anyway, this is called rational discussion. I know it's hard for you, but anyway, my whole point here isn't to beat you up about being wrong in a debate. I'm wrong in debates all the time, just not in this one. What I'm saying.
Due to his confrontational style, people who stumble upon short clips of Andrew Wilson often think he's just an angry little nationalist bullying poor women on the whatever podcast. But when watching his entire debates, there is a lot more we can learn from his way of controlling the debate than appears at first sight. And in this video, we will break down how he frames any panel of debaters early on to make sure that he always keeps the lead no matter what the debate is about. So many people believe that he's only producing strawman arguments to try to shut down other people. However, he's only debating at the level his opponent or opponents can debate. And he's not going to move any further until they have proven that they could beat him at this level, or at least oppose enough resistance for him to move on. So basically, I like to say that in Andrew Wilson we have two polarities. We have the one who has heavily studied rhetoric, philosophy, theology, and can debate or think on multiple levels of logic.
So, from my worldview, knowledge is not possible without there being a God. It's not even possible. And here's what I mean by that. Without an unerring standard, or a standard which is unchanging, your ability to know something is going to be arbitrary. Any appeal that you make, any standard appeal that you make to anything ever is going to reduce to relativism, and it's going to reduce to being arbitrary, no matter what.
And we have the one who's sometimes acting childish, even insulting, to match the behavior of his interlocutors.
No, the difference between... Can I talk?
No, can I talk? Can anybody else talk? Or is it only going to be you?
And then I never have to work again.
Truth is, he's only debating at the level they can handle, or at least at the level they seem able to handle. And if by some horrible mistake somebody tries to attack him directly instead of engaging with his arguments, then he's going to demonstrate why it was a really, really bad idea.
You're just a shock jock,
it's not
mate.
psychic ability.
You're just pathetic. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're an aggressive, insecure man.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
We're not taking you seriously.
Well, this is going to go viral, and a lot of people are going to take me seriously, and all they're going to remember is that I told you that you couldn't put down the Dunkin' Donuts long enough to make an argument.
But those are only the general principles. On a more technical level, what he's doing quite often is targeting the easiest target in the panel early on and making sure he can irritate or get that person in a defensive position so that he maintains, or he establishes the image of the most authoritative person in the room as early as possible.
Which is why, again, the semantics would be really important here to clarify what we mean when we say fascist.
No one's bringing that up. We don't care about the label.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up, Spurgley. And first of all, hyperbole isn't a threat. That's one.
Trump.
And hang on.
CBS should be taken off the air.
Two, what I want to see, so as Spurgley over here keeps on losing his mind, he doesn't want to get into hyper-specifics.
Spurgley.
He doesn't want to get into hyper-specific semantics because that would cause what we'd like to call clarification. That way we're not talking past each other.
I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, I just gave you your whole spiel. So anyway, first of all, hang on, Luke. Semantics are super important to a debate for a reason. It's so that we have clarity in what we're actually talking about. So when you go, Trump's a fascist, yeah, it's very important that you clarify exactly what that means, why it means that, what the historic standard is that you're providing against that.
But I'm saying that debate is an interesting one. I've had it a bunch of times, less relevant than whether or not you can defend the things he did factually, not the labels, the facts of what he did.
Why are you calling him a fascist then, Luke?
When you can make someone overreact, or at least react emotionally more than you do because you remain calm and at least seemingly in control of the situation, you are also helping to frame in the mind of the audience your position as the most authoritative person, or at least the person who can control the situation more easily. And as a consequence, for most people who are not as knowledgeable on the topic of the debate, they might think, oh, this person really knows what they're talking about, much more than the other guys.
Respond to this.
Yeah, but if they did, we'd be against it.
Dude. I don't like, just calm down. You'll get a chance.
This authority framing also helps to provoke reactions from the audience later on whenever it is needed.
To use a normative authority that is a psychopathic deity is a very silly thing to do. We don't need a normative authority, we need collective experiences and how that will affect humans in the future.
Got it. So I just want to make sure. I'll steel man.
Wait for the applause. Come on. Thank you.
Let's hear some real applause.
But to remain on the example from Tim Pool's podcast, Jessia was not as easily intimidated by the behavioral or intimidating attacks from Wilson, therefore he entered in much more specific details and engaged in good faith, at least more than he was doing with the other guy.
I'm actually happy to dive into this. You say that I'm avoiding your questions. I'm not. First of all, I'll answer them directly.
Sure.
It's well within Trump's rights, even if it was. Let's just say you're right. Let's just say I grant it. It's within his rights to set alternative electors. He's well within his rights to do that. Tell me why that's even wrong.
Aren't people being prosecuted in states for participating in this scheme?
Who?
And that is the last big point in this frame control analysis. Briefly, when he can't own your mind through intimidation techniques alone or subtle intimidating maneuvers, then he will attack only where your argument is the weakest from the get-go, and obviously avoid places where he would have less ease to defend because maybe some parts of his argumentation are not as well rooted, but he will avoid those and redirect all the time where your claims are not completely validated.
You are trying to come up with a situation where harm can just be changed and we can make harm not mean having harm. But that's not what secular humanism does, because as a society, as a collective as individuals, we would come up with to not do that, to make everyone happy. People aren't going to be happy if we do that. Secular humanism wants people being happy.
Okay, then Craig, I just have a simple question for you. When it comes to child transition surgery, right, we have a split on whether or not that's harmful. Who should I side with? Who should I side with?
The position of that is something that I wouldn't want to get into because...
For example, he might as well make it personal, even when the topic of the debate is not about you.
You don't think feminism is a good thing, do you?
I don't. So here, because what Farah just said doesn't actually tell me much, I actually went to her Instagram to try to figure out what her positions on this were, but it just kind of looked like she trolls. I didn't really see anything as far as feminism went, so I wrote down a few things here. So
this obviously could seem like an unfair technique and a bad faith strategy, but at the same time I haven't yet seen any rule anywhere that stipulates that this was illegal in a debate, unless the rules of the debate have clearly stated we can't use anything personal about our opponent. Then what should prevent him from doing so? Because many other debaters, including people from the other political side, are doing it too. So why should it be forbidden? I don't think it is. Therefore, he's doing it, and the point is, how prepared are you to defend? If you're not, then obviously he can beat you through sometimes not so polished maneuvers, but that is also what happens when you just encounter somebody who's more advanced than you are. And then when it gets into real serious logical topics, then he will have a whole other set of strategies to defend his points from a purely logical standpoint without trying to rely upon anything childish or intimidating, and that will be a topic of another video because that is going to be a bit too much for this one at this point. But waiting for that new one, you can already find down below a document that will give you the best strategies to debate or handle the frame or own the frame whenever somebody is trying to attack you. I built that with the magical linguistics model and using inspiration from Andrew Wilson, from my own experience, and from many other people I have seen being successful in handling the frame in seriously conflicting situations. And you can have those 7 best strategies available right now if you click on the link down below. That will be my little gift for you at this point. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you soon for another breakdown and other videos. Keep watching.